I just want to teach you guys something that I learned today in terms of life. Make sure that you never put a sleeping mask on in your life ever again, because you have to understand something, that if you tighten up the sleeping mask and it's tight on your eyes, for example. So what I done is I tightened my sleeping mask so that it doesn't fall off my head, for example. And what happened was the mask was putting pressure on my eyes. So for example, because I slept around 12 hours while the pressure was on my eyes from the sleeping mask, I started to be blind on one eye. So one eye, I realized one of my eyes on the left eye was blind. I mean, you understand? So when I closed my eyes and I opened up my left eye, I was seeing all blurry vision. I was seeing a lot of blurry vision. And that's because I tightened up my sleeping mask during sleep, and it was putting pressure on my eyes, which put eye strain on the eye. So the sleeping mask put some eye strain on my eye. So I strained my eye. Do you understand? So when I talk about eyes, for example, you have to understand what I'm talking about. So make sure that when you're sleeping, that you never put strain on your eyes, because if you strain your eye, then you get blurry vision. You understand? And that's why sleeping masks are something that causes eye strain, okay? So be very, very careful to never ever put yourself in that position where you may strain your eye, because otherwise you get blurry vision. And I understand, I tried to really try to see. I tried to see through my left eye, and I couldn't see. I couldn't see the words on the screen. You understand? And it never happened to me before. And ever since I tightened up that sleeping mask, then it put some strain on my eye, and I wasn't able to see properly. So what I done is, I have a life skill now that I'm never again going to put a sleeping mask on my eyes ever again, because I don't want to strain my eyes anymore. So I'm never going to invest into a sleeping mask ever again, just so I can do better for myself. So that's what I learned today. And also, I'm understanding I'm feeling alone. I'm feeling solitude right now. And I feel that I don't need other people with me. I just need to be right now. And also, you have to understand something about fear. I mean, fear is an illusion, okay? There's no such thing as fear. It's either you want to or you don't. Do you understand? It's either your will to improve or your will to lose. I mean, what do you want? You have to will yourself to quit smoking. You have to will yourself every single day of your life to make sure that you're not smoking cigarettes and that you're not drinking caffeine. You have to understand that you have to make one decision, and you have to make consistent action on that decision. So if you quit smoking and you say that you're a non-smoker, make sure that's what is for the next 1,000 years. So for example, I was somebody in my life where I said I'm a non-smoker, and then 20 minutes later I smoke a cigarette. And then I say I'm a non-smoker, and then 33 hours later I smoke a cigarette. You understand? There is no going back and forth when you're doing drugs. It's either you do drugs all the way and be unhappy, or you quit drugs and be happy. What do you want? You have to let yourself to be happy. You have to let yourself and allow yourself to be happy, okay? Also, what I've learned today is never drink 1 liter soy milk off the bat. I mean, the essence. So never drink 1 liter soy milk, but never ever drink 1 liter at a gulp. I mean, you understand? So for example, I drank 2 liters of soy milk, and I feel so full of fluid. For example, I feel so full of it. You understand? I feel that I packed on some weight. I feel bloated. I mean, you understand, because I drank a lot of soy milk. And the thing is that the key to drinking anything in life is drink a little bit at a time. Do you understand? And when you eat something, eat a little bit at a time only. So if you have a sandwich, make sure you cut the sandwich in half and eat just one part of that sandwich, and then 1 hour later eat the other sandwich. Do you understand? Let your body metabolize foods for yourself in smaller portions, is what I've learned. Okay. And also, if you're having a glass of soy milk, so make sure you understand that if you have a liter of soy milk, make sure you get yourself a glass and pour in that glass soy milk, and just drink one glass every single 1 hour. You understand? And that's going to help to help you to not feel bloated, to not make you feel like you ate too much, for example. Do you understand? But when you start to feel that you ate too much, then that's when you don't feel good, okay? You don't feel that you want to do anything. Do you understand? So that's what I learned today. I understand that my vision, in terms of my blurry vision that I used to have, is now dissipating. I'm understanding that my eye is now having blood flow. So your eyes, in terms of life, need blood flow in order to see vision, okay? So make sure you always make sure that all of your body parts are getting the blood flow every single day, and make sure that you understand to always be first in life. I mean, be your best self every single day. Learn to be alone for yourself. Learn to be someone in life all the time. And you have to understand that, for example, for myself over here, I find myself alone, but I'm gasping for air, for example. And now, why is that? Because I feel bloated. I feel I ate too much. And I feel dissatisfied. I feel satisfied to some degree, but I'm also feeling dissatisfied. And now, why is that? It's because I say so. Yeah, saying it's because what you say goes. So if you believe something and if you say something to be true, then that's what is. I mean, in a sense, so what you speak out of your mouth is what the case is for you. So if you feel dissatisfied and you say it, then it really is. I mean, you understand? And why do I feel dissatisfied? Because I don't feel that my life is any better to some degree. But that's a lie. Okay, I'm lying. I mean, my life is better. I have to agree with that. That my life is better to some degree. And that it's getting better every single day. But I have to make the most value every single day. I have to always, every single day, do the most I can to persuade myself to do better. And that's the only thing I can do. I see also, guys, another life skill that I want to teach you is never leave your laptop on the bed. Never ever leave your laptop on the bed. And why is that? Because the hard drive gets really hot underneath the covering of the laptop. So make sure you understand that when your laptop gets so hot, it can cause a fire, okay? So make sure you never put a blanket underneath a laptop if you're not there in that room. You understand? So for example, you have a laptop, make sure you put it on the table somewhere because it's less likely to start a fire. You understand? Because there have been people who lighted up their house on fire because of a laptop that was sitting on the bed, for example. So make sure you learn from that, please. And make sure you understand that you have to always do better for yourself. So for example, now what I'm doing is always growing myself the best way I can. I'm doing what I can to succeed. And that's what you guys have to do every single day of your life. You have to find new ways of doing things. So for example, I like my silence. I like to have silence in my life. And the reason for that is because silence teaches you how to focus, and it teaches you ability. It teaches you how to be with yourself, for example. But I learned recently that I crave a lot of social connection. And the reason I crave a lot of social connection with people is because I understand that I need social connection with myself. So for what I'm saying is that if you want to do better for yourself, you have to understand that it's more about you talking words. I mean, the more you talk words for yourself and the more you talk with yourself words, the more you find yourself in a better position to be able to grow yourself and to be able to love your life, okay? Because that's the whole point of life, is to love your life, isn't it? So making sure that you're always dealing with yourself in a proper manner to help yourself to never procrastinate. And what does procrastinate mean? It just means that you're lagging. Okay, so when you are meant to take action, you take action 5 hours later. But you, instead of 5 hours later, you can take action right now to better your life. But indeed, you wait 5 hours for that moment when you take action. So that's delaying, okay? So anything that's procrastination is doing something later and not now. So make sure you're doing things now. Make sure that you're always talking with yourself to overcome any obstacle that you can every single day. So what are my obstacles right now? I promise you I have no obstacles to overcome at the moment. I understand that it's much more how I need to live life to the best of my ability every single day. And that's my obstacle, okay? And now my obstacle is that I have no obstacles in life. The thing is that I have to live. I have to find ways to live life every single day so that I do my life much better for myself, so that I learn something from life. Okay, and that's how I grow. I grow through making sure that I'm doing something to help my life to succeed. Okay, and now I have a lot of content that I have to upload online, and I have to always get started on that, for example, which I'm doing right now. And I'm always uploading content online, and I'm always making something much more. I'm always producing much more content for myself, doing something around the scenes where I'm improving my words, I'm improving who I am as a person, I'm improving my ability every single day. And it's very important for me to every single day do as much work as I can. And what's my work? I promise you, my work is just to spread as much information as possible into the planet and nothing else. I promise you, that's it. And imagine how much work you can do in that. I mean, you have to understand there's a lot of work to do in terms of spreading information out there. Do you understand? But first of all, you have to find that information that you need, and then you have to teach other people that information. So, for example, what I've learned recently with music production is how to better make music in terms of live. And it's much more how the guy talks about many things in terms of layering and rhythms and stuff like that. And I can see exactly how to improve myself. But the thing is that I tried to do an audio program while I was watching the guy and I couldn't do it. You understand? I can do it, but the thing is that it's not quality. I mean, you understand? I mean, the audio program is not really quality. So I don't want to do anything but make sure that I do something to succeed in a way that I'm writing my journal, for example, because my journal is always the same thing in a different manner and learning different things and stuff like that. So that's what you guys need to do. So if anything I've learned today, to make sure to never strain my eye ever again, so that I have no blurry vision, so I can see exactly the time now. I have perfect vision right now. I can see everything, for example, and my vision has come back. Okay, my vision has come back in my left eye. So I'm thankful to God that that is the case, because luckily I don't have to wear glasses, for example. So my vision was gone for about 3 hours, and I couldn't see with my left eye for about 3 hours. But I could see big objects. I could see big objects, and I could see stuff in terms of much more, and that's in terms of bigger objects. But when I look at the screen on small writing, for example, I wasn't able to see exactly what was said. So I tried to put my attention on it. I tried to put my attention on the eye, but it didn't work. So the best thing to do in that situation is, if you strain your eye and if you have blurry vision, make sure that you just wait 24 hours, okay, and wash your face, okay, wash your face. And that's what Mira told me as well to do. So I washed my face, and after 3 hours, my vision came back, okay. So that's after 12 hours of sleeping with putting pressure on my eyes, for example, because the sleeping mask was tightened really tight on my eye. And because of that, it put pressure on my eye, okay? And because there was pressure on my eye while I was sleeping for 12 hours, I had blurry vision, okay, for about 3 hours, okay? So anyway, I'm going to call Tatamira tomorrow, and I'm going to tell her that my vision has come back and everything's good. So I don't need glasses, okay? So that's a good thing. So, for example, what's satisfaction to me? I mean, satisfaction to me is life. I mean, life, for example, where I can live on my own, I can do things on my own. I understand that. I just want to teach you something really quickly, that as you age, you gain more responsibilities as you age, okay? And you have to understand that it's much more that if you go the single road, okay, if you stay single forever, it's the most best road for you. Okay, the best road to live life with is when you're single. Okay, and now around you, you're gonna see a lot of people going out with people. They're gonna have friends around them. They're gonna have women and men around them. They're gonna have a husband, maybe kids as well, family and stuff like that, barbecues and all that stuff. But that's not for everybody. Okay, and you must understand that usually in the movies, for example, you see a family sit together and stuff like that, and the husband and wife have kids and stuff like that, and they sit on the table and they eat, and no phones at the table and stuff like that. But the thing is, they have to always understand that I encourage you to always have your phone on the table, okay? And why is that? Because I encourage my kids, I encourage everybody to make sure that they're always writing something down. No matter what, I always encourage this, that it's important, and you have to understand why it's important. Because when you write things down, you have to understand that you're always going to find a better way. But it's a nice and beautiful thing to also make sure that you're looking at people while you're talking to them and not on your phone while you're talking to other people. Make sure that you write in between the lines, you understand? I mean, when you're not talking to everybody, just write something down very quickly and then just start eating and talk to the family. I mean, be someone who's talking to the family, do you understand? But for example, you see many people, for example, who have a family, they sit at the table, okay, they sit at the table and they're not single. I mean, they're saying they have a family. But then you see, for example, many people who are single, you understand, and they're traveling, I mean, they're doing their own thing and they're completely fine with being alone, do you understand? And then there are other people who are alone but lonely. I mean, they have nobody else but themselves. Do you understand? And you have to understand that eventually your parents are going to pass away and you're going to have to step up in life. You're going to have to do something, okay? I mean, it's either you're going to work a 9 to 5 job or you're going to be on a pension or you're going to somehow do your passion, okay? So make sure you understand that you're going to age through life, okay? You're going to be able to understand that a lot's going to change in your life with information. So you have to understand something, that you have to experience a little bit of everything. Do you understand? And you have to understand that, for example, I went to jail, okay? I went to jail because I hit a woman. And it was nice for me to be in jail for a bit because I experienced something that other people don't. For example, I've experienced being in jail where I hit a woman because she hit me first. She hit me first and then I hit her back out of pure, just like, for example, it was ricochet. For example, like something happens, it was just adrenaline. You know, I'm just like, I didn't even think about it. And you have to understand that when you do anything, it's more think before you do. You understand? Before you do it, think about it, okay? But if you just do it, okay, if you just do it, then you have to understand that there's no rationality there. So rationality is all about thinking. And when you can think your way into life, you can always understand there's always more thinking to do, okay? And thinking is very, very hard work. You have to understand how tough it is to think, okay? It's very tough. So the more you think, the more you have to document things down, okay? Because if you don't document things down, then you're not helping other people. So I'm documenting this audio program because I'm thinking a lot, okay? And because I think a lot, I document it down and I help you with those thoughts. I help give you a direction, do you understand? And that's my purpose. I realize my purpose is just to give people a better direction in life. And now I understand, for example, that many people are not going to watch my YouTube channel and they're not going to come up to me for information. But my information is just as good as anybody's. I mean, my information is perfect and complete the way it is. Do you understand? So if you go all the way with my information, you're going to understand exactly how my path is, and you're going to understand exactly what you need to do. You understand? So for example, what's the best way to study my content? I promise you, the best way to study my content is listen through one time, okay? One time. And some things are going to make sense and some things are not going to make sense. You understand? So for example, when you read my quotes, I promise you, some of my quotes don't make sense, okay? But the thing is that it makes sense in another way, okay? So, for example, you must understand that there is always a yin yang to everything that you say. I promise you. So, if you say that objects can never teach you anything, I promise you, then you have to understand that objects can teach you also. You understand? So, there is always two sides to the story in life. So, the best thing in my life that I can tell you right now that's happening is that I can express myself. Do you understand? So, I see Torma, for example. This guy Torma. His name's Torma, and he's my girlfriend's boyfriend, okay? I mean, he's my mum's boyfriend. And you have to understand that they're life partners, okay? So the thing is that he doesn't document his thoughts down. I mean, yes, and he doesn't have a YouTube channel. He doesn't have Netflix. He does have, he doesn't have Netflix, but he doesn't watch Netflix the way I do. You're saying, he may listen to music and stuff like that. He's not experiencing the life like I am. You understand? And what's the difference between me and him? I adapt quicker. I adapt much more quicker than him. And why is that? Because I have much more information than him in some areas of life. You understand? And now, if you continue to smoke cigarettes or if you continue to do anything that's bad for you, then you have to understand that you're always going to feel below people. Okay, because you have to understand that cigarettes put you down and it makes you embarrassed. You understand? It makes you ashamed of yourself. Drugs make you ashamed of yourself eventually. Do you understand? So eventually you don't even want to expose yourself anymore because of how bad your life is. Do you understand? That's what drugs do for you. Drugs do nothing for you. Yes, but the thing is that, for example, me and Toma, I promise you, there's a lot of differences between me and him, and you have to understand that I communicate much better than him, and I also do things much more than him, and I'm also documenting my thoughts much more than him. You understand? So you have to understand that these people who put me on medication for schizophrenia are trying to slow my thoughts down, but you can never slow my thoughts down unless you put me on tranquilizer. You understand? So, for example, if you put someone on a tranquilizer, what's going to happen is they're always going to feel tired. They're going to feel drowsy. They're going to feel like a zombie. You understand? And the thing is that these medications don't make me feel like a zombie. And that's a good thing, okay? But the thing is that I've been put on medication before where I experienced Seroquel. And now Seroquel is a medication for schizophrenia. And that medication, I was on 1,000 milligrams. That knocked me out in 5 minutes. Yeah, do you understand what that means? It knocked me out in 5 minutes. I was asleep in 5 minutes. You understand? That's a tranquilizer. As soon as you take it, what happens is you just fall asleep after 5 minutes. It's like you have to understand there's no choice. Once you take the medication, you're just going to sleep. You understand? And that's something that's Seroquel. I never want to go on that medication ever again because you have to understand that Seroquel medication really, really knocks you out completely. So the universe is always giving you information. So I always ask the universe to give us more information. You understand? So I pray to God with you guys now. And I say, please, God, please give us everything in terms of information every single day. And let's always ask God for information all the time and making sure that God's always providing us information regardless, because that's what we need. We need more information to be satisfied. You understand? We need to be much more aware. So the best way to be much more aware is to read more. Read something that you've never read before. Do something you've never done before. Go the road that you've never went before. Do you understand? But make sure you follow the 10 commandments of God. You understand? And that's the best way forward, okay? So make sure you never kill anybody. Make sure that you never cause harm to this world. Make sure you never kill animals, okay? And make sure that you never eat meat, okay? Never eat vegan, eat vegan food, but never eat meat, okay? Make sure you become a vegan eventually, so you see exactly what that is. Because if you've never became a vegan before, then become a vegan and see how it is for yourself. Do you understand? But the thing is that you need information to unlock yourself to do that. Many people don't have that information. Many people lack the ability to be a vegan because they do not see how to be a vegan. But I do, and that's my advantage to living life longer. I can actually be vegan by eating the foods that I need to eat every single day, and I understand how to do it, and it's easy for me to do it. You understand? So, for example, with my life now, I understand what's satisfying in my life now. I promise you information, I promise you words, I promise you ideas that I give. For example, I produce words, I produce content. That's something that satisfies me. And why is that? Because I get to express myself. And the more I express myself, the more I better my attitude through what I do. And it helps me move forward. And now my mom and my dad don't watch my content as much as I want them to. You understand? And you're going to understand something that when you produce a lot of content, I promise you everybody around you is not going to catch up to you. They're definitely not going to catch up to you. They may watch something, but they're not going to sit down all day watching you. You understand? And that's the thing. And that's not a shameful road. It's not, never be ashamed of yourself for that. And also understand that if you're someone who's proud of yourself, make sure you always be proud of yourself, okay? But the thing is, it's much more about understanding what pride is. I mean, pride is always confidence, okay? Pride is a way of life where you're proud of yourself in a way that you want to better other people and that you want to help yourself and other people, okay? And make sure you understand to see pride from that angle. You understand? But in the Bible, it says that pride is evil, okay? And you have to understand that it doesn't say exactly that pride is evil, but it just says that pride is something that you must not have, okay? But make sure you understand that pride in terms of helping other people is always something that you need. I mean, in a sense, so you have to understand that you can always manipulate words together to make sure that you understand the meanings around everything. So, for example, the reason my music production is not doing as good as before, and now I'm understanding that my music is always doing good and better than before, but the reason I'm so slow in my music production, you have to understand how slow I am. I mean, you have to understand I'm doing it alone. I have rarely any support, and I have to reach out for support. You understand? I have to reach out for other people to teach me something about music. Do you understand? To get some motivation. Do you understand? But the thing is that when I do it alone, it's like, fuck, I mean, there's no support other than myself. You understand? And the thing is that in life, when I talk this content, I need nobody else to give me this content except for me. You understand? The thing is that I can talk all day long and I can talk to myself all day long and be happy. You understand? But when you're thinking a lot, you have to understand something. That thinking doesn't make you be happy, okay? Thinking is just a part of who you are in a way that it's just a little part of who you are. But the thing is that if you direct your thinking into words where you're documenting it, then you have a purpose. But if you're not documenting your thinking, and if you're not jotting things down, it's easy to get crazy. If you're not digging into your thoughts every single day, and you're not digging into those ideas to give it to other people, then you're not going to live a satisfied life. Okay, I promise you. I promise you, people who don't write things down every single day are not going to be as rich as possible. I promise you. I promise you that. And you must understand that it's much more that you have to understand how important it is to write things down. So when you write things down, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to see exactly your direction through the thoughts that you speak. You understand? And the thing is that nobody else wants to listen to you. I mean, you understand? Nobody else wants to listen to you in your area. You understand? And I'm willing to listen to you, but you have to understand that now it's not that occasion, is it? You have to understand you're listening to me, aren't you? And you have to understand that the better listener you become in life, the more information you get exposed to, and the more information you're going to be able to sum up and teach other people. I mean, that's how it is. So you have to understand that when you read solely to teach other people what you read. And that's the only definition of success, is teaching. I mean, you understand? So teach everything that you can. You have to understand that Jesus Christ taught more than he read. Do you understand? And you have to understand how much reading there is to do. I mean, you have to understand it's much more express your life story, express who you are every single day. And if you do that every single day, you're always going to see a direction. You're going to be able to see a direction. So every single one of my audio programs is very different. You understand? It's very different from the words I speak. And you have to understand why that is, because each and every single one of my programs has different words to it, has different sequels, has different paraphrases, different ways of abbreviation and different ways of sentencing something. You understand? So the thing is that I'm always learning to dig into my thoughts. And when I dig into my thoughts, I try to document that. I try to document everything as possible, in terms of as much as possible. And why is that? Because I can help someone with that. I can help someone with that information. You understand? So there are things that I've learned today in terms of a few key skills today that I've learned. Like, for example, never strain your eye. Never put your laptop on the bed, for example. Also, make sure that you call someone for help when you need it, okay? And you have to understand that everybody needs help. Everybody in life needs help to some degree. And you have to understand to be able to reach out. You understand? The more you reach out for other people in terms of information, the more you get what you need in terms of information. So it's always ask and you shall receive. You understand? So if you're someone who's wishing for a boyfriend or girlfriend, then make sure you understand something. That if they're not in your life now, then they're not meant to be in your life at this moment of time. So for example, you have to understand that I wish for a girlfriend, for example, right now. But the thing is that I have to believe it to come. I have to believe it to be true. You understand? And what do I have to believe it to be true? What do I have to believe right now? I mean, you have to understand. I have to believe that I have received that already. Okay. I have to believe that I have it in my possession. Okay. I have to be understanding that once I believe that I have it, I have the confidence. Okay. I have the confidence and I have the acceptance here as well to be able to understand that somebody in my life is coming to my life to be with me. Okay. But if that's not the case, then I understand something, that it's never going to happen. Okay. So if you believe something to be true, okay, then it's always going to be true for you. So for example, if you believe that a woman or a man is going to come on and come up into your life sometime in the future or in the moment, what's going to happen is you're going to grow from it, and you're going to make sure that every single day of your life, you're going to understand that person's coming in your life because you believe so. Yes, and because you believe so, that's so powerful. I mean, it's so powerful to believe that something's going to happen in your life. And so what's going to happen in my life in the future, you have to understand that things are happening in terms of I'm going to Germany now. I'm going to see my mom. I'm going to go to Serbia, see my family, and I'm going to have a good time. And I'm going to write things down. I'm going to jot things down. I'm going to do my work as much as possible, and I'm going to be around the family and stuff like that. And then I'm going to eventually lift up my responsibility in about another 5 years. And eventually in 5 years' time, my responsibility level is going to be skyrocketing even more. And what does that mean? That means that it's time to make some more money. And it's time to have a family. I mean, it's time to settle down somewhere. Do you understand? Because you have to understand, I'm not doing it because of other people. I'm doing it for myself. And now, if, for example, that somebody doesn't come into my life to give me this, then I'm gonna be alone. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be happy alone. I'm gonna be with myself because that's what I need. So those people who have a girlfriend or boyfriend right now, or have a marriage or have kids, are ready for it right now. You understand? They're ready for that. And now, am I ready to have kids now? I promise you no. And I can tell you that really right now, that I'm not ready to have kids. You understand? I'm not ready. And why am I not ready? Because at the moment, I'm not working a 9 to 5 job. You understand? I'm not working a 9 to 5 job. And is there any other reason? Actually, it's more there's no woman for me right now. You understand? There's no woman willing to chase me at the moment. And what else? I mean, you have to understand there's no woman in my life to give me a kid. So, of course, I'm not ready. Okay? But is it because of a 9 to 5 job? Actually, no. Actually, it's not because of a 9 to 5 job. The thing is that I can have a kid right now and teach this kid a lot of things. So I can teach this kid, I can finance the kid and everything with my money right now. It's no worries. But there's no woman right now to give me this kid. You understand? And I'm not going to pursue that. I mean, you see, I'm never going to pursue having a kid unless a woman pursues me for it. You understand? And that's how it's always going to be. You have to be fine with yourself. You have to be good with yourself. You understand? You have to understand that it's not worth pursuing if other people are not willing to give it to you. I mean, they're willing to give it to drug addicts, but not to me. So what I do is I just do myself. You understand? So the thing is that in my life, I was a drug addict as well. You understand? My dad's a drug addict to some degree. And my mum also can drink some alcohol sometimes. You understand? And that's also drug addict behavior. You understand? And the thing is that my family also drinks alcohol and stuff like that. You have to understand. So that's all like drug addict behavior. Do you understand? And you have to understand that my grandmothers and my grandfathers all smoke cigarettes, for example. And that's drug addict behavior. Do you understand? But they have good attitudes. And you must understand that their attitude is now reflecting my attitude. You understand? So what I've learned from these people in terms of my grandparents, okay, and in terms of my mum and dad, I've learned a new attitude. I've learned how to take their attitude and become someone from that attitude in a way that I better myself and my attitude to make sure that I have their qualities inside of me, but I dissociate myself from their negative qualities. You understand? So what are their negative qualities? They get angry. Okay, they get angry. They hit somebody violently. Okay, and they also shout too much. Okay, they shout a lot, and also their habits. You understand, their habits and nothing else. So that's what I understand that I've learned from that, and I better myself around this. And now you have to understand, my dad is a public speaker to some degree because he's a singer, and he has to sit up in front of a crowd and he has to stand up in front of a crowd and sing. So he has some leadership qualities here that I've learned from. And I've learned how he does it, and I've learned how I do it as well. So we have something similar here going. But you have to understand that my dad was never interested in me as much as I want him to be. Do you understand? And why is that? I mean, you have to understand it's like he's jealous of me to some degree. You understand? I mean, it's like he loves me, but at the same time, he's not interested in me totally. I mean, you have to understand he's not trying to go my way. You understand? Apparently, he doesn't want to learn from me as much as possible. You understand? I mean, he thinks that I have nothing to teach him. You understand? And my mum also, she says, like, for example, recently she said, don't try to outsmart me. I mean, she said to me, no, don't try to outsmart me. I mean, she said, don't teach her anything, for example. You understand? So the thing is that when I give my mum ideas, she says, don't get smart with me. I mean, you understand? She doesn't want me to be smart. You understand? She doesn't want me to be smart. So what I do with my mum and my dad and people around me is I be stupid. You understand? I be stupid in front of them. I try to get them to teach me much more. I try to be the listener. I try to be the student. I mean, you understand? And they can think that they know everything and stuff like that. Okay. The thing is that there's a difference between me and them, and I'm much smarter than them. I'm much smarter than all my family. You understand? I'm much more aware. I'm doing much more work than they are. Okay. And my mum says that I do nothing all day long, that I'm always on the laptop and that I'm always on my computers and stuff like that. And you have to understand, I'm always doing something around my computers. I mean, you're saying, because I'm always producing content. I'm always writing thoughts down. I'm always writing quotes. I'm doing social media. You understand? I need my phone today to do social media for a higher purpose. And that's the only use of my phone. I don't use my phone to browse. You understand? I don't use it to browse. I use it to browse to see new images, for example, which is my purpose. But the thing is that what's important for me to understand all the time is that I'm always trying to grow. I mean, I'm trying to grow as much as possible. And the thing is that I'm not traveling much these days other than in my words and through imagination. You understand? That's the only way I travel these days, is through imagination and through words. And now when I go to my mum's house, it's going to be traveling through plane. I'm going to go for the plane again. I'm going to be able to see my mum, travel to Mostar, travel to Bosnia Herzegovina, where there's a place called Mostar, and that's where my mum's house is as well. And then travel to Serbia from that point, for example, and then travel back to Germany, and then travel back to Australia, and then just be in Australia for another 3 months until I go back to Uruguay over there, in terms of back to Germany to go to Uruguay. So that's the plan with my mum and stuff like that. So, for example, now it's something different for me every single day because I get to express myself. I get to do things for myself like this. But you have to understand that since I'm expressing myself and since I'm learning every single day to do the things that's helping me grow, I'm understanding that's why I'm doing things. I mean, that's why I'm always helping myself grow. I mean, you understand, because it's very important for me to do so. I mean, every single day I'm always trying to do the best job I can. And that's the most important thing, that you always try. You understand? Because if you never try to do anything, then you're never going to feel worth it. You understand? So everything that you need to try about every single day is something good for yourself. Do something good every single day. And understand that if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. You understand? So, for example, if you're not a millionaire, but you want to be a millionaire, just make sure that you believe it in your heart that you're already a millionaire. You understand? Believe in your whole soul that you have everything already. That everything that you ever need in life, you have it already. So, for example, if I had people here with me right now, I wouldn't be able to document myself. I wouldn't be able to be alone. Do you understand? And you have to understand how it is and how it feels like to live with people. For example, I mean, you have to understand that those people can really drag you down because most people in the planet don't have social media and don't do anything on social media. Do you understand? And now there are plenty of people going on TikTok these days, and just making random videos of themselves. You understand? And they're trying to sum up a crowd and trying to sum up a following for themselves. The thing is that you have to understand that it's more about documentation these days. I see, so that's why, guys, I express myself, for example. And now I understand if I don't express myself, then I have nothing to say anymore. You understand? So I always have something to say, and that's why I always try to give ideas. I try to give as many ideas as possible so that I can benefit the universe in some kind of way, because this is my way of giving back. You understand? This is my way of working. And while people are sleeping right now, I promise you, what's the time? Actually, it's 3:30 in the morning. You understand? I mean, people here in Australia are sleeping. You understand? I mean, they're going to work in the morning and stuff like that. I mean, you have to understand that many people are not documenting themselves and they're losing. You understand? But I'm not losing. And now you have to understand that because I document myself much more than they do, I always have much more of a greater legacy than them. And I'm always understanding that it's much more about helping people anyway. I promise you, it's much more about helping people anyway, so that you live life, so that you do your life in a better way, so you're learning, so you're growing. You understand? Because if I have nobody to talk to, I have you to talk to. You understand? I'm understanding that there's a new channel of where you can talk to people, and it's online. You understand? So what I do is I make an audio program, and you guys listen to me. You understand? And that's how I talk to you guys, and that's how my time goes by very quickly. For example, because I'm always productive. I'm always doing something to talk to you guys. You understand? And when I'm talking to you guys, I'm understanding I'm always doing work to help you in terms of words and to help you to live life to the best of your ability every single day. You understand? Because that's what's important to me. Every single day, learning, growing, being the best I can be every single day, doing the best job I can every single day. I'm promise you that's what's important. You understand? And nothing else. I'm promise you. So for myself now, I'm understanding that I need to grow, I need to learn, I need to help myself to grow. But I think every single day that this nice and beautiful audio program is more than enough for you guys. And you have to understand, every single day, just learn. Just make sure that you're always helping that you're always helping yourself and other people. And that's what you need to be doing. So anyway, guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this program. And I'll see you guys in the next program.